Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 8th web show, what we call the Web Blast, BW Hotelier Web Blast. This one is special with people I'm completely in awe of. This is our F&B special, the future of my plate. And I have one man I really look up to, Anil Chadha, the CEO of ITC Hotels. This, he says, is my first outing, I guess, first outing as an anchor. And he hosts the show for us. And he's a wonderful F&B specialist who's got the best F&B businesses under him. He's done so much in the space. If I was to read out of my mobile his achievements, I will hog in perhaps half the show time. I leave it at that. I have Chef Rohit from the Oberoi, New Delhi. Hi, Rohit. I have Chef Raj from the Taj, which I have known Taj Mansingh near my school, and the Machan. And of course, who doesn't know Chef Manisha Basin, another icon in her own space. She's the corporate chef of the ITC. Chef Himanshu Taneja, young, happening, with a whole lot of achievements under his belt from the Marriott, right? And he logs in from Bombay. All the way from Kolkata is Chef Sharad Devon, another young, high-performing chef who's got a lot under his belt. Chef Rajiv Janveja, the corporate chef of the Lemon Tree Group of Hotels. Somebody I must tell you, before he hits the kitchen every day in the morning, be sure he's already run 10 kilometers. And before he gets home, he's done another 10. So he does between 10 and 20 kilometers of running every day. Chef Neeraj Tyagi, quite a large frame at 6 feet, how many inches? I think 3 or 4. Heavyweight, truly a heavyweight. He's the chef for the Pullman at the Aerocity, formerly with the Shangri-La. I won't take more space. I'll straight away head on to Mr. Chadha. This is your show, Mr. Chadha. Over to you. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to this session on Future of My Plate. I think first of all, may I first of all thank you, the BW Business World, BW Hotelier, Mr. Khanna, Mr. Anurag Batra, and this entire team behind this show, and thank them for actually giving us this beautiful opportunity to come together and give us this platform to share our views on this Black Swan event, which has really brought our industry to a grinding halt. A lot of businesses have got affected, but certainly the hospitality industry, as you are all aware, is in complete red. You know, we are probably one of the worst hit industries and obviously taken in by a complete surprise. In the next 90 minutes or so that the show's time is, I'm quite privileged and honored, to share the stage with these champion chefs of the industry. And I do hope that these 90 minutes are very engaging, meaningful, and encouraging for the audience, as well as for all of us to learn from each other. Before we get on to the topic, really, let's look at what has really happened, transpired in the last 3 months. The entire perspective on the COVID-19 has changed, really. Given the resistance that the virus has offered, all the interventions of the experts, we started with conquering, then we moved on to containing. But I think in the last 30 to 40 days, we have accepted the fact that we have to coexist with the COVID-19. And if I go back, memory serves me right, 2611 defined and permanently transformed the entire security across the world. And the hospitality industry never looked at security the way it ever looked before. Similarly, it's going to happen here. Has the learning cycle just begun for all of us? What will happen with this? Would COVID-19 will redefine the safety and hygiene standards for the years to come? Remember, what we learn in a crisis today will also make us smile and comfort tomorrow. So what does the new normal hold for us? There has been a lot of chats, there's been a lot of talks, there's been a lot of articles which have been written on that. Is sanitation the new hygiene and cleanliness the new amenity? Would cleanliness now replace location? When we spoke about restaurants, when we spoke about hotels, we always said location. Would it be replaced by cleanliness? Is health the new wealth? What does the new normal hold for us in the future? Is contactless service the new personalization? Seldom heard, seldom seen, never touched, and always felt, the new gold standard in service. Is quality, safety, and responsibility the new definition of QSR? Is takeaway the new restaurant in the making? Has the buffet seen the Last Supper? Has the big fat Indian wedding gone on a diet? Sometimes in life, you have to move 2 steps forward. You have to move 1 step backward. I guess the time is now. The customer is very nervous today. You can, if somebody asks me that what is that one word which can define what the guest feels today, it's nervousness. Okay. How do we move from here? So the customer needs some kind of confidence. He needs some kind of an assurance. And I must say that all the chains and all the articles that one has read over the last 1 or 2 months, the kind of effort people have put into making various hygiene and sanitation standards, making food safety standards, security standards, the way people have come about, the way manuals have been written, the way training is being conducted, is absolutely phenomenal. How the industry has not sat back, how the industry has really come about and say, okay, let's fight it all together. So that is absolutely brilliant. Okay, but in this moment of nervousness, the moments of truth have to turn into moments of trust. And it's really our job as hoteliers, okay? How do you bring those moments of trust? Perception is very important in our industry. Not only do we have to eliminate germs, but also eliminate anxiety. Without so much ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me first of all introduce my most beautiful panel. Some of them are friends, some of them I've worked with for many years, but really privileged and proud to host the show along with them. So we'll take a quick introduction round. We'll start with the lady on the center of the screen. I'm actually totally privileged that I've been her colleague for last 28 years or so. Chef Manisha Basin, who's the corporate chef of ITC Hotels, joined the hotel industry in 1987 as a kitchen executive trainee and has certainly moved up after 3 decades of experience as the top chef or the corporate chef of ITC Hotels. She's also the vice chairman of World Chefs Committee, board member of IFCA, president of the Chefs Guild of India, a board member of Cuisine India Society, was recognized as the world's top 10 chefs with Marriott Worldwide in 2001, and was also given the national award by the best chef by the government. She's really known for her hard work, her talent, her leadership abilities are absolutely unbelievable. People who have worked with her can definitely vouch for it. One thing I must mention is the cuisine that she brought to the table was the Delhi cuisine, when she happened to be the chef at the Welcome Hotel Chef in Saket, and that certainly deserves a special mention. Apart from opening of the lot of restaurants that she has certainly been involved in ITC Hotels. Her list of recognition is endless, but I thought I'll read out a few. Amongst the top 10 most admired chefs of 2014, recipient of the distinguished contribution of Lord Billy Moria, House of Lord UK in 2017, winner of the National Tourism Award, winner of the Star of the Industry Chef of the Year. The award recognizes the creativity and efforts, winner of the Chef of the Year award given by the FHRI, winner of the Chef of the Year, Lady Chef of the Year by PHDCII, and the International Award for Culinary Excellence. So Manisha, warm welcome to the show. Look forward to the interaction with you. Next on my intro is this very handsome chef Rohit Gambhir, which you all must have seen a lot of articles. I have read about him. I've eaten his food. I've seen his work. And after going through the large experience that he has, I can guarantee tell you that he's certainly a global chef and a global traveler. Rohit, just like Manisha, also started off with the Oberoi's at the Center of Learning and Development in 1995. Has worked his way up. Is currently the boss of the Oberoi New Delhi as the executive chef. In the early part of his career, Chef Gambhir trained in Michelin star restaurants in Rome and Sicily before leading operations at the Oberoi Mumbai as senior sous chef. His culinary explorations in Switzerland and Egypt named him the widespread recognition. He has represented the Oberoi in various international forums, including Global Restaurant Investors Forum in Dubai, the Table Culinary Challenge held in Taipei, Kuala Lumpur. As a part of cross exposure, he's worked in Mauritius, Bali, Lombok, and hence I mentioned he's a global traveler who's really brought the global plate to the city of New Delhi. His recent achievements, to quote a few, once again, a lot of them, but just to highlight a few. HOTELIER Award 2019 as a finalist, appearance at MasterChef India as visiting jury member in 2014, recognition in HOTELIER India magazine in the Hot 100 2015 list as a Chef of the Year 2011, and then at the HOTELIER India Award, awarded as the Chef of the Year. Chef Gambhir is also featured in the top 10 best chefs list by V. Shangri's Choice in 2018. He's a regular there at the brunch, so people who follow him would see him over there. So it's great to see you, Rohit. I look forward to the interaction with you. The next on my list is Chef Arun Sundaraj, which I'm sure He's an extremely well-known face in the industry. He's been with the Indian Hotels Company. So we're going ITC Hotels and Taj, really a person who spent again 27 years with the Taj with a variety of experience. He's worked, he grew up in the city of Mumbai and was fortunate to get an opportunity to travel extensively as a child, which exposed him to different cuisines and ingredients. And that's what probably generated his interest to become a chef. So he's a very widely traveled man, and with the Taj group of hotels also. I think I have seen his CV. He's worked with many hotels, but some noteworthy mentions is Taj Mahal Palace, Taj Exotica, Taj Falak Numaa Palace in Hyderabad, and now currently based as the executive chef at Taj Mahal, New Delhi. With his rich and diverse experience, Chef Arun is true sense a rising culinary star who's constantly innovating and endeavors to deliver that onto a plate. His cuisine influences the food, but the magic in his flavors that he really works on. And I love that people, all the chefs who work on their flavors more than just the design on the plate, are not created by clever use of fresh ingredients. Self-motivated and dynamic, very humble man. With our interactions, I can say that Chef Arun brings to the table the hidden treasures from his kitchens. An emerging culinary hero, he constantly endeavors to create something new and unique. One thing common about all these chefs are the awards and accolades that these guys have won. Again, highlighting a few, he was declared the winner in the category of Chef of the Year at the Times Food and Nightlife Awards. Arun Sundaraj was conferred the Jury Award for exemplary contribution to the profession by BW Hotelier 2017. Wasabi Marimoto at the Taj Mahal Hotel has been featured amongst top 50 restaurants. Work was featured amongst the top 50 restaurants in the world by St. Pellegrino for 2 consecutive years. Definitely a proud moment for India. Well done, Arun. Warm welcome to the show. We have Himanshu Taneja, who's the culinary director from South Asia Marriott International. A very young and a very dynamic chef. Himanshu commenced his career with the Marriott International in the year 2010 as executive sous chef at the JW Marriott Mumbai. In a span of 3 years, promoted as an executive chef of the hotel in 2017 and then moved to St. Regis as the director of culinary. Given his remarkable contribution in growing the culinary operations of the St. Regis Mumbai, Himanshu was appointed as the director of culinary for India in 2018. His repertoire and knowledge about the science of food has resulted in his rapid growth and trajectory within the organization and promoted as director of culinary for South Asia Marriott International. With 20 years of experience, he is highly respected amongst the peers within the organization and the industry. He is very instrumental in positioning the F&B reputation in the country, having created concepts that are both innovative and trend-setting. So we'll have some questions for him based on those concepts that he's been working on. Next is Chef Devon, who's probably one of the most well-known chefs in the younger generation, who's now currently the regional director of the Park Hotels. Award-winning innovative celebrity chef Cheryl Devon, often addressed by media as the food fashionist. Alchemist of Food is regional director of food production at the Park Hotel, Kolkata. An alumni of Institute of Hotel Management, Delhi and Pune. Chef Devon carries 26 years of experience with him. He's opened 12 restaurants, pan-India in 12 years. Currently involved in opening of 2 hotels in Pune and Indore. In his present role, he sees the creative kitchens of Park Hotels in Kolkata, Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, Bangalore, Vizag, and 2 hotels in Goa and Flores. He was recently crowned Chef of the Year by the coveted T2 for the year 2017-18 and the most innovative chef by BBC Food Guide Food Awards at 2018-19. So Sharad, great to see you again, an ex-colleague at ITC Hotels, but great to see you at the panel. You look as young as ever. Moving on to Chef Raji Jangweza, who is the corporate chef of Lemon Tree Hotels. He started his career with the Taj group of hotels, and after completing his studies from IIM Lucknow, over the years, he's honed the skills at various Taj hotels across the country and then moved on with some other leading retail food businesses as well. During his career, Rajiv has launched many quality restaurants like the Machan and Ricks, the famous Machan and Ricks at the Taj Mahal Hotel, New Delhi. As a corporate chef of Lemon Tree, Rajiv is directly responsible for the food and beverage production and service of 80 hotels in 48 cities. And he's a marathon runner. And I can well imagine only a person like him could fit into the bill of running 80 hotels in 48 cities. So he's also the proud recipient of the Tata Award for Business Excellence. With a career spanning over 34 years, he brings with him a rich and relevant experience of launching exciting new restaurants and food concepts. Rajiv is presently playing a very key role in revamping LTH's culinary strategy and assisting the group achieve vision of being dominant and mid-market hotel chain in India. Warm welcome, Rajiv.
Thank you.
Last on the panel, in no particular order though, is Chef Neeraj Tyagi, who is the director of culinary Pullman and Novotel New Delhi Aero City. He At Pullman and Novotel, New Delhi, he leads the culinary operations across 6 restaurants and bars of the dual property, which includes many restaurants and many award-winning restaurants. His vision is to cultivate and maintain the finest of culinary operations, establish and enhance the dining standards, increase quality and productivity, and ultimately guest satisfaction. Majorly focused on hygiene and sanitation, the need of the hour. Requirements are very passionate about training and development. So obviously he's going to speak a lot about people engagement. At the dual property, he's responsible for curating and presenting innovative dishes with distinctive twist, offering exquisite and modern gastronomy to the guests. Again, an award winner, received several accolades in the hospitality fraternity, such as Chef of the Year by BBC Good Food, Best Executive Chef of the Year by BW Hotelier, runner-up by Hotelier India, and many more. You can well imagine how nervous I can be with this distinguished panel, with the amount of years of experience, all these doctors of food who are there on the panel with vast experience. I think Khannaji really searched, and if he had to put a panel of chefs together, this is the best that we could get. So we're going to move on with our topic. Since Khannaji is now made us an astrologer, he's asked us to predict the future of my plate. So this will be a sincere attempt from the 8 of us, how we reach that and what do we conclude at the end of these 70 or 80 minutes. Okay, so I think we'll begin with the lady first, not because she works for ITC, but I've always believed in that. So Manisha, with the kind of human experience which I could make out, and I know you personally for the last so many years, you've seen the industry in so many highs and so many lows. Good times come, bad times go. So you've really grown in this entire industry from a young kitchen trainee to be the super boss of the ITC hotel kitchens. Okay, is what if we were to just relay this topic to you, and what does the future of your plate looks like? What would be your take on that?
As you very rightly said, health and food safety is going to be the new norm. So it's not, and it does not necessarily mean that we'll only stick to the Indian food. The chefs will explore Indian ingredients, sustainable ingredients, and incorporate that in other cuisine genre as well. And of course, we are working towards creating an indigenous ecosystem. Again, going by Government of India directive also of sustainable India, sustainable movement that is happening, that is Atmanirbhar Bharat. Chefs will work towards modifying their recipes. They will going to make sure that they incorporate plates. There'll be more research and more happening. A lot of work was already being done, but it was time when there's a need. It was more of a statement when people were talking about these immunity foods. Today, that's a requirement. There's a need for us to go back to our food and make sure our plates are healthy and safe. So both are equally important. I see a lot of vegetarian food coming in, a lot of vegan, plant-based food walking into our menus, into our systems. In America, yeah, there was a starting of a vegan burger, but that's no longer it's no longer a dream. It's going to be part of our plates. Also, India was always leader in vegetarian food. Vegetarian food is going to catch a big market here today. It's also because there's a lot of doubt where the virus is coming from. Everything else really goes back to that. So that is how I see my plate. My plate will be very safe, very hygienic, very healthy, immunity boosting food, but given with a twist by a lot of talented chefs who are here on the panel.
So you personally been very vocal on the local love, on the vocal on local. If I was to say that, for many years, and not from now, from your younger years when you used to plant small herb, you had a herb garden 25 years back at the Westview. What is
yeah.
Has the time come? Has the time come today? Is responsible dining the new mantra today? And it is something that will lead us to the future. You did speak about a lot of these things in your reply back. But do you think that responsible dining is now finally here to stay for the longest period?
Absolutely. When we started with the rescue, that was way back in 90s, it was at a very nascent stage. Today we see everybody getting into farm to plate, and till 6 months back, it was just a statement that perhaps some people were making it, and now there is a requirement. local food is there to explore. I have always believed what grows on the earth in your territory, in your terroir, is what you should consume. Again, based on the seasonality also. So what is seasonal is required to be eaten. So there we go for the local food. We should also at the same time help the farmers also to grow these things. We have to create a market for that. So local foods, my interaction with local food started way back when we started working on the Tehilvi field. We went to a lot of homes, culled out various local recipes, culled out the artisanal intrinsic ingredients. That's what we introduced. So as one dives more into it, you see what is happening in US also, in any other place of the world. You have turmeric latte, that is but our haldi ka doodh, which we have all had drinking in winters. You talk about flu. Everybody ate black pepper and clove and kada. Today that is part of a medicine. So we have to incorporate. We have to see the heritage, the food heritage that we have in these herbs and spices, and incorporate into our food. And local is the way to go forward.
But do you see a large movement happening all over the country? Do you think there's a unanimous?
Absolutely. Large people today are taking a lot of pride in what your country produces. There's a lot of pride in that. Gone were the 30 years ago when everybody thought that if you were a Western chef or if you were using Western ingredients, you had arrived in life. It's no longer the same. If you open an Instagram, you see so many posts where young chefs are taking pride in what they're doing locally. A lot of chefs on this forum also have their own herb gardens. They grow their own local produce and they're putting that on the plate. So that is the way forward. That is actually the only way forward. You reduce your carbon footprints. So at ITC Hotels, we did our local love, that was 6 years ago almost, which is a great hit. So each location offers the local cuisine. And it really resonates very well with the foreigners also, because they get to taste your local food in the comfort of your hotel and safety of your hotels as well. So I think local is the way forward, yes.
So when a young chef who joins in today, he always wants to get into the branded category. You want to ask him what kind of chef you want to become. You definitely hear, I want to get to specialize in Japanese cuisine. I want to get into the Chinese way. We get a lot of people who say we want to specialize in Bukhara and Dampot. What does he take on the youngsters on something like this?
Youngsters will find their path. They will explore the local ingredients and see how they want to incorporate that in their style with a difference. So there's a lot of work happening by a lot of young chefs. They are using the local ingredients in a very innovative and very interesting way. But of course, they will specialize in the cuisine that they want to do, because that's a career they would like to pursue. But simultaneously, maybe once they mature into a chef, they will incorporate these ingredients also. But initial learning of theirs would happen in their core cuisine, as I see it.
So if I was to ask you that, if you were to dine in a restaurant, food was one part of it. The entire experience of service, ambiance, music, lighting, and everything played a huge role into it. Okay. So what happens tomorrow on that front? If
I missed that question because there was a little lag. Can you repeat it, please?
I said food is one part of the entire dining experience. Okay.
Yeah.
Was food the hero before? Will food remain the hero tomorrow also? And
food will remain the hero for the time being. There'll be a lot of focus on the hygiene and safety, rightfully so. That will become that is a part of our DNA. A lot of 5-star hotels, a lot of luxury hotels, yes, to see what's happening in the kitchens as well. So once that comes in control, then of course food will be hero, definitely.
Okay, I think there's a bit of a disturbance, so I'll come back to you. Okay, I'm going to move on to my next panelist, which is Chef Rohit Gambhir. Okay, so Rohit, there's a lot of literature which one has read, over the last 1 or 2 months. Okay, make it better, but just not safer. You don't touch the person, but you can touch his heart by touching his heart. You can touch him with good service. They can't see your smile, because how can your service bring a smile that goes 1,000 miles? There's obviously a mask in between us and a guest today. There's obviously a screen in between a guest today. But is there an opportunity available to reinvent a new cuisine theater of experience? That's my one question for you. And
yes,
two, I thought,
could you repeat the last part again, sir? Sorry.
So I said, Okay, I'll do that. Is there an opportunity to reinvent the new cuisine theater of experience with so many barricades now? There's a mask, there's a screen, there's a contactless service. You can't go near a guest. Your plates have to be pre-plated. So there's obviously a lot of movement which is going to happen on that side in the future. I know there's a lot of work which is happening. Okay, and two, with your vast travel experience and a company which is truly global that you work in. Okay. There are a lot of trends that one hears today. You know, people say that the fusion is going to go out, liquid nitrogen is going to go out, foam is on its way out, and what's going to really come back is the local. And Chef Manisha echoed the same sentiments: regional, back to roots, healthy, traditional, indigenous, seasonal flavors. So you may like to join both the questions together, but what I'm just trying to come back to you is that what really is the future of food and beverage dining or the restaurant dining in five-star hotels going forward?
All right. So, Mr. Chadha, to begin with, to answer the first question, of course, these are unprecedented times, and there are quite a few barriers that are coming in between the server and the guest. But I think at the end of the day, what a server or any of us were doing was carrying an emotion and a feeling. I think the guest today will understand that, this is the need of the hour. And if you're doing those things right, I think it is the emotion and it is the feeling that will translate for the guest to experience that there is genuine care involved. I think that would be obvious. What would change? What would come in? I think there are quite a few things that are already beginning to move in. Quite a few things that are already in, quite a few things that are already out, and I think this journey of change will continue till the mystery or this pandemic unfolds. Apart from the regular things that are staring at us in our face, whether it's the mask and the gloves and the sanitizers, I think the digital menus and QR codes is something that's going to come in a big way. The digital platform or technology as a whole, I think will get catapulted to a very different level. And I think all of us will need to align, absorb, and embrace, if not educate ourselves on these parameters. What else is happening? What will happen? I mean, some of the things, obviously, the food delivery is, as we all know, is already growing. And I think it will continue to grow even post the lockdown. Even once the lockdown is over, I think the food deliveries or the packed orders are here to stay. There will be a certain percentage of people who would be more comfortable doing takeaways, and that I think will continue. I hope and I'm sure that with these takeaways, what will happen is that we will get to see more improved and refined and biodegradable food packaging coming in a bigger way. Another thing I think that will happen is that the branded products will gain a bigger share of the market. When I say branded products, I think I'm referring to branded groceries or whatever will get a bigger market share. Organic food, although to a slightly lesser degree, but also will come in. Organic food has its limitations, whether it's with regards to its availability or whether it is for cost reasons. It will it will move up, but not as significantly as other branded products. And branded things could be anything. I mean, in hotels probably we get branded paneer, but in the local market you don't. But if tomorrow there was a player with something like a branded paneer, I think those things would. And I'm not talking about the vacuum packed 3-month-old shelf life kind of a thing, but the fresh paneers, if they could be branded. Similarly, I think we will see more conscious, mindful eating, no fast foods, healthy food. As Chef Manisha spoke about, immunity boosting foods, vegan food, all these things will gain a bigger market share. Read a very nice quote which said, "Immunity boosting is the new weight loss." So I think those kind of things will come in. Importance of safe food is something that is going to make a dent. For the longest time, we've been talking about serving delicious food, or then it became delicious and healthy food. But I think the word safe is going to get precedented to all this. And in that order, going forward, people will look for safe and then probably delicious and healthy food. So for some time, I think the safety aspect is going to play a very important role. Another thing, I think five-star hotels, we've always been, whether COVID or no COVID, all of us have been maintaining a certain level of hygiene all along. But I think going forward, we will also need to be seen to be hygienic. I think that's very important.
From the hotels that we've opened, what has been the response of the guests when he's also come back to a new world altogether? From a highly personalized service, there's a barrier. From a highly on a platter to plate service, you got back to pre-plated plates. What has been the response of the guest on this?
Honestly, sir, our hotels have not opened yet to give you a direct feedback on that. But as I said before to you, that my belief is that it is the emotion that we carry to a guest, whether we are smiling or whether we were going without a mask. It was an emotion and a feeling that we were translating to a guest. And as long as those emotion and that feeling in this case is more of care, so if that is there, I think the guest will see it and feel it.
So one good takeaway from you, from your point, is that when the food is served, the entire mise en scene also plays a big part, and that ambience has temporarily changed. There's a bit of a halt. We don't know for how long. So while that touch may go away, the warmth must remain, and that's probably coming out.
It will transmit, sir. It will transmit if it is done with genuine care, mask or no mask, shields or no shields. I think that emotion and that feeling will transmit.
So I'm going to come back to you and pick up some of the points that you mentioned, because you and Manisha are echoing the same buzzwords in terms of healthy, conscious, traveler, local, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to move on to Chef Himanshu.
Sir, if I could just make a small point here with regard to that, I 100% echo and agree with Chef Manisha. But I just want to be a little cautious here to say that we can't do away with imports. Whereas we should continue to explore what all we can do with the locals and get more and more local food into our cuisines, and as much as we can. But then there are a host of ingredients that make us what we are, that makes a cuisine what it is. And till we reach that level of, if we can't make a perfect Parmesan cheese, if we can't make a perfect balsamic vinegar, there is no reason why not to get that. So we should tread this path with caution. But yeah, I agree that overall we should move towards local.
I think it's a movement that you have to, which began, if you ask me, many years back. In fact, all of you also started in that particular fashion. Probably I guess I said that has the time come when the responsible dining takes a one step forward, and is there a place for every menu, which is where you see and what you eat. There are a lot of hotels who now, like our hotels, you write about the fish. This is overly fished, so you put that in red. This, you put a tag on a buffet that so much 40% of the produce of the buffet is locally produced. You're saving on the carbon footprint. So these are some of the new norms which are obviously coming about. This we've been speaking about, and as we go forward. But I'm glad that you brought out these points as well. We'll move on to Chef Himanshu Taneja, who's, I was reading his CV and seeing a lot of work that he's done with the Marriott Hotels. All right. So, Himanshu, my question for you really is that the millennial India is also now slowly and steadily advocating sustainable dining, and food isn't, it's just not the food which comes to your plate. It is the whole process of the production, of the farming, of reducing the food of animal origin, fish at risk, healthy and well-being, fair trade practices. So it's a whole supply chain of sustainability which has to come into play. There are a lot of chefs who've been speaking about this. There are a lot of youngsters who are getting into it. So what's your take on sustainability today and the future that it holds on the food part?
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chadha. Thank you, everyone, all the chefs. A very, very interesting question and a very responsible question. So first I'll start. It's about 6 months back. Our son, 10.5 years old, and he asked me, Papa, why we are not vegan? I said, but why you want to become vegan? Where you heard this word? I was like shocked. What are you saying? He said, no, Papa, but why do we kill animals? I said, no, we are not killing animals. We are getting ready-made animals and we're eating. He said, no, we as in human. I said, my goodness, this guy has got some weight. Yes, sustainability is, I would say, a very responsible word, which has been used vastly by many, many people. But I think there's a lot of responsibilities attached to this word. And of course, it lays on the principle with our community, our economy, and of our planet. So sustainability is all about awareness, first of all. And yes, like I just mentioned, a lot of millennials, Gen Y people are also very much, getting responsible as, it's there a part of the education now. It's there in the schools and colleges. And I think we should have a chapter on hotel management as well, sustainability going forward. So this is where, because of the education, people are becoming more responsible. And yeah, I mean, if you see, there are a lot of hotels also. I mean, most of the companies have adapted, lot of sustainable best practices to support the community and the planet. So I would just like to divide into two. One is what overall work which is being done in most of the companies, and we as a Marriott also doing it, and culinary perspective, what the hotels and what we are doing it in this. Now, first I tell you, one is the renewable energy resourcing is going to be big in the future. It's like the sourcing of energy from wind or by solar, by hydraulic. That's going to be big. There are companies who are, I tell you, internationally as well. Companies are moving to electric cars. This is already there are a lot of hotels have started putting those electric stations in the parkings. It's already been installed. This is what the future. And if you see in India also, probably in next 12 to 18 months, a lot of hotels are going to invest in capex in the electric cars and stuff. A lot of non-plastic. Most of the hotels have already acquired this, and even we as a Marriott as well. It's like if you see a plastic bottle in the hotel, it looks like a crime. We are doing it completely straw-free, plastic straw-free. You see the no room amenities. Even the food packaging, also, like Chef Rohit mentioned, is sustainable food packaging. I mean, we also when we get the food in plastic, I mean, we also see, I mean, why we are ordering the new furniture, which is in the new projects. You see, it's completely the laundry bags and stuff. It's completely one foot out of the door. A lot of waste management work is happening right now, like you just mentioned. In the waste management, it's you said 40% food is locally sourced stuff and on the buffet. So we are also working a lot of food which is locally sourced to, and of course reduce the wastage is to serve 360 is a big thing which is big. And then now from culinary point of from F&B perspective. There's a lot of work going on sustainable sourcing of fishery. This is where 1/3 is either the overfished or the fish which is an endangered or threatened. So this is where a lot of work which is going on farm and wild fishery, which is the benchmark is on the global seafood sustainable initiatives. And when you buying the fish, suppose it's a wild, you have to have the MSC certificate or you have to have the IRF certificate. Same goes with farms working with those alliance. And there are a lot of fish which you see are banned in the menus, like bluefin tuna, marine mammals, shark fin and stuff. So that's one. Second, a big initiative which is going to support human society is the cage-free eggs. Even in my house also, if we buy, we go to supermarket and look for cage-free eggs. That's it's given nowadays and with lot of 5-star hotels. And of course, that's one of our priorities as well. In top 10 priorities, one of the proteins has to be, the cage-free. Like Manisha mentioned, and most of the hotels are doing this hotel farming and supporting a lot of farmers, working with organic farms, hydroponic farms, and in all the cities also, if you see, this farming business has improved a lot, which is I completely agree to some extent what Chef Rohit mentioned regarding buying the stuff imported. Like you cannot replace balsamic or you cannot replace Parmigiano Reggiano or maybe a prosciutto. But yes, our reflection towards and our approach towards the menu is 50% local. So when we make our menus, our 50% food is local or locally inspired dishes is what we plan from our side. Of course, it supports a lot in terms of sustainability. We don't have berries, we don't put it in the menu. I mean, why to buy blueberries or imported, cranberries or non-seasonal summer, we fly from Europe the strawberries. So it's better to have something on the plate which is throughout available, seasonal, around the year. And of course, we are working very, very aggressively on zero waste program. So Planet 360, like to reduce, of course, this gas emission and stuff. This worldwide, also globally, there is a lot of work which is going on to reduce the waste. 30% the food is go waste, and the contribution from the hotel industry is 40% actually, which is 10% compared to the overall. So this is what we are working on. We are working with a lot of NGOs and stuff to support and reduce wastage. And looking at the stuff at this point of time, I think buffet is one for outdoor at least for a few months. That's another opportunity to save the waste. So this is a lot of work which is going on sustainability, and this is what the future is. And I think we should also, look forward and support. This is what my take and our take is on.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's very good. I only have one question for you. Is sustainable movement expensive? Does it dent your food?
So yes, it is initially. For example, you buying plastic bottles. For example, you got to put a big plant to ensure that you have glass bottles, and then suppose the water plant you got to put it. That's one investment. For example, it goes everywhere. Like I said, again, if you see the ROI in a long term, which works best. Second thing, which I would like to say, in our culinary space, being sustainable is not very expensive. I think rather you save a lot of money by go local. Like Chef Manisha also mentioned, we have advantage as India. We have advantage geographically. We see all the seasons. The kind of soil we have the best. The kind of water is one of the best water we have in this country. Of course, we don't have those chilled for. We don't get those oysters and stuff, what it's grown in, raised in cold water. But otherwise, our local crop, the stuff what we're growing in this country is sensational, and the supply chain for the local produce is brilliant. You name the thing, it's available. Most of the states any given time. So why to fly something imported and create? It's better to work with local or locally produced. Make the menu in such a way, and if you do the menu, it's 80-20 rule. Your local is sold 80% in the menu. If you do the star dishes, the 80% is the local dishes. So this is what our philosophy as a Marriott also is. I think it's a one-time investment initially, but the ROI is way much better if we see.
Great. So I think a very important take from you is that normally a business will never succeed in society which has failed. So you're really talking of a big, large movement. It's a full culture that you spoke about, and how do you take that culture down the line? How do people understand the complete sustainability cycle? Because it's just not about buying organic food. I think it's the complete cycle of the produce, of the plating, of the getting, of the transportation, cooking techniques, food democracy. All those factors have to come into play. So Himanshu, that was a great take on the sustainability angle. So we certainly have to be more inclusive, definitely,
and more responsible as well.
More responsible. So we go back to the word responsible dining, which I asked Manisha. So I know a lot of us have been practicing that for many years. Tell me, because you work for the Marriott, so obviously you have a lot of knowledge of what's happening around the world. There is all the food cities which they say, whether it's Rome, Florence, Paris, New York, London, Madrid, Bangkok, Sydney. These are all top cities in the world. How are they coping up to the COVID-19 situation? Is there a bounce back? Is there a bounce back that we can learn from? Is there a bounce back that can teach us something? Have they started driving in the volumes once again? How has the customer reacted? Do you have any insights from, because you have a lot of colleagues whom you work with? So can we get a first-hand information? Because what you read is what you get.
Right. So, Mr. Chadha, we work very closely with Singapore and, of course, Hong Kong office. This is where APEC is, Asia Pacific, excluding China. Of course, China is way ahead than what we are doing at this point of time. They could manage to contain the stuff, and the business is back. But like if I say other countries, like place like Singapore or what's happening in Malaysia, what's happening in Thailand, uh, let's say Australia. So I will talk about what's going on there. Uh, what is the expectation for the customer, the guests who are visiting to our F&B restaurants there. So the big thing, what the most important thing, what people have seen, and we as a Marriott also say, so cleanliness is a new amenity. That's the biggest thing. It's the most important amenity we can give it to our guests. And at this point of time, of course, the restaurants are, I would say, it's about 50 to 60% of occupancy. Different places, like in Singapore, restaurants are like 50% occupancy. Hong Kong is even more, about 70 to 80% occupancy. But everybody is expecting the cleanliness should be visible. It should be visible through eyes, something which is always taken as granted in hotel industry. Like you have the best kitchens or the clean kitchens. It's not no more. They want to see physically. They want to see from your eyes. Yes, these best practices have been followed. So of course, this is what we are doing also. And the most of the stuff is also cooked and displayed live, and with all the best practices are shown. That's something what people are expecting, and we can learn from them. Second thing is, at this point of time, all those countries are opening phase-wise. Like this is what pretty much is happening, and then like let's say the occupancy, the restaurants are opening as per the restaurant occupancy-wise, phase-wise. Same with all-day dining, breakfast also. So this is what happening in places like Singapore or Thailand, and this is also we as a Marriott also planned. That okay, let's say the occupancy reaches at 20%, and this is where we'll open the breakfast, and then it's going to run till that occupancy is only the a la carte, and then slowly and gradually we'll start opening the buffet. This is what we can learn from these countries. There are of course cities like Bangkok or cities like Kuala Lumpur. They've started showcasing their best of best buffets and big buffets, but again, things are shielded. There are shields on the buffet and the stuff which is covered. The buffet is served on the table. I mean, you as a guest, you walk around the buffet, there's somebody who's actually taking you around, and you don't stand there, wait for the food. It gets served, the entire food, the plating and everything is done. The kitchen, the buffet is working like a live station. The entire buffet is working like a live station. I mean, everything is displayed. It's huge, but again, everything's served on the table. So this is where we can learn that, of course, we will be looking for more manpower for this. That's going to happen for sure. Once we open and we reach at so about 50 or 60% occupancy of our business. One thing which is very, very interesting, and I found out with many of our colleagues, that home delivery business in those countries is fading. We all say over here it's going to stay, and we are also aggressively working as Marriott, and that we all say that it's going to stay with us, but it's not happening there. It's we see the numbers are actually, home delivery is dropping and the restaurant numbers are increasing, and I was surprised. We also discovered, like, let's say maybe they are way ahead of us, let's say maybe, but this is something good to learn. The numbers are fading. It's not what what we are expecting at this point of time. The in-room dining business is improving. The IRD, so maybe what we can learn is what we have done also in those countries. We have reduced our menu significantly. Because of this lean manning, and then the menu is short, it's less prep, less minpla, less, and of course you work on your best dishes where you have to, we don't get problems in those best dishes. So this is where is happening is the IID is take a big hit. People want to, of course, want to have contact-free dining and stuff. So this is good to learn. One more thing, what Manisha also mentioned, a lot of vegetarian demand is there. People are, I mean, we remember when we used to travel to different, we traveled to different countries like Singapore or, any other Asian country. Seafood is like everybody wants to have only non-vegetarian, and vegetarian is like an accompaniment. It's not like that. There used to be 95% non-vegetarian. It's like, no, it's a 40-60. 60% you'll find non. So people are going towards more of vegetarian food in other countries. And of course, our country, 30% is completely pure vegetarian. That's one. Sustainability is again coming, and people want to know, people want to see in the menu, that where the sourcing is from. People are asking for it. This is what I learned. And then, if you're working with few companies to work on the waste reduction, and this is where this is the best time to implement those best practices. We don't have buffet, and this is where you can do the comparison and put the best practices in place. These are the learnings at this point of time. I would say what's happening around the world.
Good. So you actually, you echo something which I started off by saying that sanitation is the new hygiene and cleanliness is the new amenity. It's all cleanliness vis-a-vis location. All these
Exactly.
countries who are coming back, and there's a lot of, you echo the same sentiments that these are the new buzzwords. So are these the buzzwords of luxury or food and beverage dining tomorrow? Probably it is. So I'll come back to you because I have to ask you another question which I've noted down. I'm going to move on to Chef Arun Sundaraj, my dear friend. And I've got a very interesting question for him because I also want to know what's going to happen in that space. Arun, the wedding market in our space is estimated to be almost 5,000 crore upwards. And these are there are no official numbers recorded. These are numbers which are collected by various hotels and people. But as I mentioned to start with, has the big fat wedding on a diet? Yes, it has. The band baja barat is totally muted. You have a cap on the number of people that you can take. All of you sitting on this group, including me, we have thoroughly enjoyed being part of some most amazing weddings that this country is hosted. For a lot of foreigners, for a lot of Indians. So the bars are running dry. When do you think the Indians are desperately waiting to get back to the dance floor? The big dance floor with lots of alcohol. So how are you all coping with it today? Because I hear a lot of people now saying I'm doing 5 weddings together and 10 weddings together. Is small the new personalization number, or how does it work? And what do you think will happen going forward? Because you've been personally involved in such outstanding wedding events.
So before we start, I think so every father, every parent has always said, "Beta, shadi dhoom dham se karega." So now I think so everyone is going to say, "Beta, shadi zoom dham se karega." So it is as we're on a Zoom call, I think so weddings will also become from what we know in terms of the numbers now. A lot of people in this past 3 months have done something called as a Zoom wedding. The virtual wedding or the virtual celebration. I mean, we are lucky that as human beings, this is one thing that will never stop. That is the wedding business. Of course, the scale has changed. It has become smaller, is what we would say. So what we would really need to do is we would need to realign our business model to look at the small as the new big. When I say small as the new big, I would still say there are parents or there are people who want to have, a large spread. May not be a large spread. They want to accommodate a lot of people. Simple solution, as they say, if at all you wanted to do a 100-cover wedding, so you do it twice. So you do 50 covers today and you do 50 covers tomorrow. So I think so our catering sales teams now have to start judging with guests, saying that, "Sir, you want to do a 100-cover wedding? We can do it for you. So today 50, tomorrow 50. Or else we give them 2 rooms. So you do 50 people in this room, you do 50 people in the other room." I think that is something that would make sense in that sort of form. When we talk about India and we talk about close to 26 million people outbound, is what we look at traveling out of India. Now that's really going to stop, and a lot of our chunk of our businesses that we see going out of here goes to a destination, Thailand, Phuket, it just goes away. That business I don't think is going to happen for some time. So I would say the new place to look for destination weddings would be drivable distances. So say for example, you're staying in Delhi, you would maybe do a wedding in Corbett, or you would do a wedding in Jaipur, because it's still drivable. You can still drive people down there, take the entire booking for 50 people, and continue with your wedding celebrations. Hotels are like Delhi is still closed, but hotels are opening in Gurgaon, and you can see that today everyone who's had his wedding either pushed back or move forward is now looking at these small segments of doing a 50 cover wedding in one room. The other day I actually spoke to a chef and I saw that he's done 2 weddings on the same day, 3 weddings on the same day, where he's actually used one of his restaurants to offset another 50 covers. So that is currently happening. I mean, everybody on this panel has obviously spoken about hygiene, and I think so we guys have got an advantage here, because as hoteliers we have always followed this. It's in our DNA, and people know us to be hygienic. We've got so many standards. We got the ISO 22s, we got the HACCPs to back our systems, we've got audits, and this is what people are looking at. And it is a sure assurance that today, if you go to a 5-star hotel, you would get these guarantees, without any stress. That's an added advantage when you look at what actually happens at a farmhouse. You don't really know what the caterer is doing, how's the food coming. There are so many ifs and buts that are left in the minds of the guests, and I think so we have got solutions for that straight away. When we talk about styles of service, I mean, there are various styles of service, and sit down services for a small gathering of 50 is, I think so, the new normal, or a plated meal. But of course it has got its major disadvantages, and we've already seen it. So for example, it's a social gathering, so people get up from one table, go to the next table. There would be requirements of people asking for refills. The food, oh, I did not eat it, it was not hot when I ate it. So I think so as chefs we'll have to recalibrate and understand that if it's a 50 cover event, it can actually, the type of meals that you're making would be 60, 65, 70, because you would have to send out those sort of refills again. The other solution would be, say, a micro buffet on a table, or a family style service where the cold food is already pre-placed, and then you add the remaining food in a small little loaf-and dish, or small bowls where that group of 4 people or 5 people, 6 people are serving themselves. So you're also distancing that. I think the self-service buffet, I think so, is going to be shut down for quite some time till we get a solution. But a service buffet with screen guards is something that is still manageable. I had recently seen a clip where they had actually done what happens when you don't have a service buffet against a self-service buffet, and the results were pretty good. We could also have something called as I think so, to sustain our various choices that we offer. You could do something like a flying buffet where the food is coming out on salvers, but it is primarily in an area which is demarcated. So there isn't any close contact with the guest, but the server is in a small pathway, maybe something like a fashion show. So the server is walking down that alley, and the guests then pick it up only from that style. Outdoors, when all hotels have got outdoor venues, an outdoor venue will become something which is more look forward to in all sort of weathers, because there is more space, so you can accommodate it, as I said, different blocks. The other thing that you would actually see, some of the issues that we are currently facing with people who are already doing social events is that people are not wearing masks. They are not following the rules that are currently set. So you may need a COVID marshal over there, to actually reassure them and tell them, this is not what's something that you need to do. As a hotel, we people have got our own vendors, and I think so. Most hotel, I mean, everybody on this panel has of course worked with a wedding planner who has got his own set of vendors. These vendors who we would have would definitely understand the requirements of what is a safety norm. So I think so going forward, a lot of the hotels would be able to ensure that the vendors that we have coming into the hotel are actually certified by us. And the more the vendors in a social event, you would see there is more requirement of checking. There is then post the vendors working, you need to do sanitization. These are issues that you're going to face when you have a wedding event, because you need to do a floral arrangement. A vendor comes in, you need to do lighting, another vendor comes in. So vendor management in a small space would also be very, very critical, other than food. uh, some of the I was doing some research, and I came across, I read something called as a drive-through wedding. So this was done by somebody in Malaysia. So what happens is the couple is standing on a pathway, and they've done a fantastic floral arrangement, and everyone drives through, meets the couple, says hi, hello, and as they're driving out, there is a packed meal that is given to the guest. So the guest has got
Yes.
food, met the requirements of meeting the guest, and is gone. So I think that's an added advantage for us. If at all somebody's got a great driveway, you can actually set up a big, wedding there, people driving through and going, and everything happening that way. The other one is of course, you can do, as I said, you can do weddings on various dates. So it actually assists that. You can reach out to people who want to do a Zoom wedding, because as you see, there's only 50. So say there is an event of a Zoom event also happening, and there are a virtual wedding happening for various other people to come. So you can actually think of doing packed food to these people as part of the celebrations that you're doing. In another revenue stream that I noticed is that quite often a wedding planner gets a pre-gift which comes to the room. Now in the new normal, anything coming into the hotel has to be sanitized. Now when you look at this beautiful basket with this cellophane and whatever put on it, and then you try to sanitize it, and then there are smaller packets inside, so on and so forth, and it's a big hindrance. I would say that we as hoteliers need to just look at this as another revenue stream for us to push our own business for any wedding that is coming into our system. The other thing that we would look at would be the gifts that people give away, as mithai or shagun or whatever. I think so. Those are all revenue streams that normally that is taken out of our own system, and is done by the another vendor, or is done by the planner, and so on and so forth. I think so we need to tap into all these things to look at our type of business and sustain what we've currently got. That's what I can think of off the hat right now. Anything else that
So some great thoughts, Arun. You're bang on. I think it's a great opportunity for the Indians to hold the weddings back. I mean, it's a heaven sent opportunity. And you spoke quite a bit. But if I was to ask you, what are the top 3 USPs that we guys can create today to hold these weddings back? There's a lot of weddings which went abroad, and we all deal with the same wedding planners, the same guest axo. Actually, one wedding has happened in Thailand, one has happened here, it can't happen here, etc. And India is a land of amazing opportunities. From mountains to beaches, you got all kinds of locations. Our food is spectacular. Our warmth is, definitely unmatchable. All the brands do extremely well on that front. Okay. So what are those three things which will come to your mind, which can hold them back for the near future?
Okay, in the current scenario, what I would like to say is that as a hotelier, when we talk about the top 3 USPs, one of our USPs has always been our food. There is no going away from that. Our USP is something that is something that we guys have always had our food right. If you've got this right, I don't think there's going to be a problem in anything else. That's number one. Number two is the assurances that we give. Okay, as a hotel, as a 5-star hotel, as a chain, we are known to make sure that our food is safe, our venues are safe, the entire people who are serving are safe. Once we're able to establish this, I think it's great. So, for example, how do you ensure safety in an outdoor setup? So, I think so. We guys need to think differently. That now we would actually need to have stand up, makeshift washrooms, makeshift sinks, because people need to continuously see that people are washing their hands. There is sanitization happening. That's just in terms of the visual impact. The third most important thing for our USP would be our our teams should come across as highly approachable, and everybody wants this sort of business. But the facilities that we can definitely give out, for example, we have got the entire bandwidth we've got Rajasthan, we've got Goa, we've got every destination possible for you. And the more we are able to get it together for them, that this is what we are able to offer. We've got so many platforms for you to be able to spend money. And I don't think so anyone on this panel will ever say that in India people don't have money to spend. There is a lot of money out there. Wedding is a big market for us, and we just need to find new ways to, I think so, extract that money out. And we will definitely offer bigger things, better things, and the more we do it, I think so, the more money we'll make.
So Rohit mentioned in his talk, healthy before delicious. What will be your take on that? Because you are a man of flavors.
No, sir. Even safety before health.
Safety before health and then delicious. So what's
my take about this with Rohit is that I give it as a granted. It is safe. We've been doing this since 96 was the first time we went into ISO, and so on and so forth. And so for us, it is a normal. There is nothing new in this normal. As far as the kitchen is concerned, of course, the social distancing aspect is there. I don't think what Rohit was trying to say was that the food takes a back seat in terms of flavors, or in terms of design, in terms of the way it looks. He's just trying to say maybe we need to say that our food is still safe, or
he's prioritizing.
Yeah, so he's trying to prioritize it. I'm saying it's a given. My food is safe. You don't have to worry about it. And flavors is something that everyone definitely wants. He wants to make sure that his taste buds are exactly where it is. He's today wearing a mask. He's wondering whether he should take it off before he eats it. But once he sees his food, he smells his food, he starts eating it, I think so he's going to go for it. He says, fine, this is an assured place. I'm going to enjoy myself. Thank you so much.
Great. So is there a recipe for a healthy butter chicken or a nalli nihari ghost, which is extremely healthy?
So when you go back and look at a healthy butter chicken, then I would think so you would have to first have the butter for breakfast. You will have to have the tomatoes for lunch, and you'll have to have the chicken for dinner.
So Indians, Rohit, will eventually come back to the roots, So you anyway, but there are two different takes of two different chefs. Okay, they're both right in their own manner. They both cater to different audience. I don't have one more topic. Sorry, go ahead.
If I could just go ahead. So the only thing I was saying is that in this post-COVID world, two things I wanted to say. One is that we will need to be seen to be whatever. So of course we have been like this, and I would just like to add to what Chef Arun said. It makes in fact, I would like to emphasize on this point that when it comes to cleanliness and things like those, hotels, 5-star hotels have been doing a lot of things for a very long time. I mean, every piece of vegetable that comes into our hotel gets washed in 50 ppm. Not now. It was happening before COVID. We have our color chopping boards. We have our dishwashers at certain temperatures. Mind you, we have bells in the kitchen to wash hands every 2 hours. Maybe the trend will now change to say that it is going to be, instead of 2 hours, it's going to be now 45 minutes. That is what is going to change. Yeah, we have been doing a very hygienic job for a very long time. But I think the difference is that now we need to,
you have to make
it a better word, broadcast it and make the customer feel that
you have to make a theater. You have to make a culinary
so
theater.
I agree with you, Rohit. When the guidelines of MOT and FSSAI came again post-COVID era, there was nothing much that I think we as a 5-star kitchens had to do much. Just to incorporate the social distancing, and that's about it. Not really much needed to be done.
Okay. So
maybe this was more for perhaps the newer standalone,
which every hotel has kind of. So the new rich kid in town is the 5-star takeaway service, right? Okay. So until about 4 months back, not many were into it. Today, almost everybody is into it. right? There are menus and menus and menus. You want to order a club sandwich, or you want to order a dal, or it's available to you at your doorstep, right? So my question to you is that how does the packaging, the entire delivery system, because when you are dining in a restaurant, it's just not the food. It is the ambience, the service, the professionalism, the entire gamut which comes along in the entire evening, right? So is as somebody, as Himanshu mentioned, that takeaway service. Rohit also, I think, touched upon the takeaway service. Okay. So is this something that everybody's kind of jumped on because this is probably the only revenue producing opportunity right now? Or do you feel, as the numbers that Himanshu was saying, that when things start coming back to normal, these things start declining? Or do you think, I'm not talking about you as a company, but what's your take on the takeaway? Is it the new restaurant in the making?
Okay. It is definitely a revenue stream. There is no two ways about it. If you go to look at some of the numbers that are actually plotted on a worldwide scale, you are looking at around currently in the market, we're talking about $70,000 million is the current market in worldwide. And when you project it to say on a and you project it to 2024, it'll touch close to $85,000 million is the market over the world. When you look at let me first try to answer what Chef Himanshu said, that the trend of takeaway is coming away and it is now dropping down. I would agree with him. For that current period, it's like a little fad. Till now you were able to order out, you ordered out. Now the restaurants are opened up. You will definitely want to go and flavor those. But when you go back to the way people are today, and the way people have got jobs, they've got calls the whole day, so on and so forth, this might just about bounce back in terms of the numbers. When we look at this business model, there are two models. One is the platform model, which is like a Zomato and a Swiggy model, where the customer is delivered through these two models. The other one is, of course, the restaurant to the guest directly. So we've always been using the very simple method of you place an order with the person over a phone, and then that order is delivered to you, and it was not really given much focus. In today's time and era, when you look at the number of people using a cell phone with any software on it, I think so the numbers are going to actually talk. And they're actually saying that by the year 2020, right now, there are going to be about 16 crore people in India who are going to order online. That itself is a staggering amount when you look at it, and that is the type of market that we're actually playing with. When you further deep down and look into that market, 26% of that population is in the high income group and who are ready to order food. With the current COVID scenario as one of the streams, I think so everyone wants to eat in his own safety and safety in his own house, and they want to enjoy that. The Taj as a company is going on live with on the 25th of July with an app called as Cumin. So we are looking at an app which would definitely deliver our best restaurants to you at your homes. And what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to look at sustainable, it is biodegradable packing, and the entire delivery system is at a different level. So it is a delivery system that is controlled by us. It is looked after by us, and the entire model end to end is done by the hotel company. And it's launching in Bombay, and then we are now going to expand to 5 cities. In Bombay, we've got 3 hotels right now, and it's going to expand to the other Delhi and Chennai, Bangalore, and so on and so forth. Apart from this, as far as the app is concerned, we are also looking at a customer in terms of trying to get it with our loyalty program. So by September, we should be able to link both. So whatever you order on the app also gives you the ability to earn and burn, and we're going to open a gourmet shop on the app. So it just gives you a lot more to offer as a system, because currently when you look at it, your team is already there in the kitchens, they're working. We are just adding another revenue stream to with the same fixed costs. and generate more revenue, is what I would say as of now.
I think one more thing that's going to happen is that it's going to put a lot of pressure on the kitchen, if you ask me, because when you dine in a restaurant, food is one part of the entire experience. Now tomorrow, the center stage is the dish that you sell to somebody's house, and it's completely there. So the storyteller has vanished from the restaurant, but the dish is the story by itself. So it's going to put some added pressure. But I believe I have same views that this is something which can exponentially grow. It's an experience that you need to create. There is a market available, and which we are witnessing. I guess everybody was shy because there was certain price point this market was available, and most of the 5 stars have come into certain segment. You need a particular dish. It's like a 5-star hotel. You got a coffee shop, you got a branded restaurant, you got a Chinese restaurant, and there are different price points. And same thing is going to happen in this space as well. So I'm glad packaging will play they call it the pink box. But how beautiful that box looks is something important, because how beautiful it's really replaced the paper linen today. You are not looking at the cutlery, crockery, glassware. You are looking at that one biodegradable box which comes in front of you, and how is it tagged and how is it cooked. So it's going to put a lot of pressure back on the system, but definitely is here to stay. So I'm glad we share the same views. Okay, so I'm going to move on to a slightly more topic, slightly more serious topic, which is very relevant today, right? This is off to Chef Raji Janveja. Okay, Raji, we all grew up by looking at the 4 C's of food hygiene safety, which is cleaning, cooking, chilling, and cross contamination. Has that been now taken over by the 4D, which is the discipline, distancing, diet, and disinfection? Is the importance of hygiene and food safety in the entire supply chain has become much more important than ever before? I heard the chef's views that we were always there, but has it taken more prominence? Has it become even bigger? Do you expect a whole variety of changes that will come through? You run large number of kitchens, large number of hotels. It's a massive operation, right? How do you maintain those standards? So what's your take really on, do we think that there's going to be a dramatic change which is going to come forward? The laws are going to become more stringent. Do we need to get into some kind of certification in 5-star kitchens and standalone kitchens to get in this aspects? So I thought we'll hear it from you, because you run a large operation.
Thank you, Mr. Chadha and Bhuvnesh ji. I think all the chefs have been talking about hygiene and sanitization, and of course, we cannot deny that we are not following. There are a lot of standards which have been put in. Because see, from the beginning, when we start from the college, we have been taught hygiene and sanitization, and a lot of things on hygiene we talk about, because we say that hygiene starts from home. But yes, today's time, there is a lot of fear in the customer mind that whether the food is safe, whether the food which we are going to eat, whether it is going to be the same, because we have been talking about, a lot of contamination can happen by touch. So distancing, touchless menu, touchless days. So we are talking about all that which is coming. And what has been happening is we have been receiving a lot of, manuals and guidelines through the government. Like Ministry of Health, FSI has released a lot of guidelines which need to be followed now. So it is not related to only hygiene. There are certain guidelines which have been given by them, whether it is for kitchen, whether it is for restaurant, whether it is for banqueting, that this needs to be followed. Like 50 people only can attend a wedding, which Chef Arun was talking about, and everybody has heard about that. So keeping all that in mind, there is a mix of feeling which is there in customer mind, but we as a chef need to definitely bring that confidence back in the customer's mind that what we are serving is safe. And of course, we have taken care of all, ensuring that everything which is coming is safe. We are maintaining social distancing. We are following all the guidelines. I feel that there will be definitely a need of an hour now to, take it to a different level now of the hygiene. We all know, because India, vendor management is a bigger concern, which has always been in our hotel, and which remains still, getting the food from the right, the raw material from the right vendor, whether he's maintaining his place in the right way or not. So these are the checks which definitely I feel the government will start, which we can see from the guidelines which are coming from the government. So what we have done is, I think every hotel has done, we had to definitely tweak and bring in some new SOPs or manuals which we have been created. Like in our company, we have created a manual for each and every department to follow. And these are the guidelines which are based on the guidelines given by the government. And of course, we have learned a lot, and keeping in mind that how we need to ensure that our food is safe, we have done, like, you know, from the vendor management point of view, when we bring in the food, we definitely make sure that the guest, the vendor which is coming in, he's checked, his vehicle is checked, his vehicle is sprayed or sanitized. He's also supposed to do a declaration form, which is mandatory now. He's supposed to have a Arogya Setu app, which is very mandatory now. So, and he should be in mask and everything, which is to be followed. The vehicle comes in, then of course, we need to ensure that whatever food is coming in, if it is in a grocery, then that material definitely has to be isolated for 24 hours, depending on what kind of material is coming. If it is highly perishable, then definitely we need to go in for sanitizing, as we have been doing. So that practice will not change. That practice will continue, like as Rohit Kambir says, but we will be definitely very strict now to ensure that our food raw material which is coming in the hotel is very, very safe. And there are a lot of hotels which have now, you know, gone in partnering with the companies, which in the organizations which have been, you know, which help you in maintaining a sanitized area or hygiene practices. Like, you know, you have Bureau Veritas, you have Diversity. So Diversity is also now started, like they have come up with the new guidelines, and this is a new seal which they have come up, which is rest assured. So this helps you to follow a certain kind of guidelines which we have gone into. So those guidelines help us that, and they'll be helping us in doing the audits. They'll be helping us to ensure that all the guidelines which are required are followed. So that is what is a new norm which is going to come in. Now coming to the employees which we have in the kitchens. So of course, if you actually ask me, the back area is the backbone of a hotel. So we need to ensure that our back area are safe in terms of what food we are producing, which we have been doing it. But now a new norm which has come is that the staff has to wear a mask. They have to continuously do sanitizing. They have to continuously keep on washing their hands. It is of course now becoming difficult for the kitchen staff, especially, to wear a mask and to work on a tandoor. You know, it's heat. So certain things have to change maybe, but for the moment we have to follow the guidelines because, and of course in the kitchen now, what has happened is that we have, you know, we have marked the areas to maintain a social distancing. We have reduced the staff. We have reduced our menu. In a way, if you actually see, reducing the menu will help us to produce, you know, to keep producing new items in our menu, which we can regularly keep on changing and bring in new dishes in the menu. So that is what we are doing. Social distancing is the main thing which we have been following in our area. And of course, to ensure that this is followed, we have made a checklist which is to be signed by the chef every day, that he is following all these guidelines which are being given. These are the things which are become mandatory now, and I think the government will definitely you know, make sure that these guidelines will become more strict to be followed. Contactless delivery is another thing which we have to follow now, especially in-room dining. As Chef Arun said, that now, you know, in-room dining will become, more people will get to use in-room dining. So the food has been delivered up to the door, and the guest has to then take the food inside. That's what probably we'll have to follow now. So these are the guidelines which have come up, which we have to follow now.
Great. So thank you for that. And you know, my second question to you was on immunity building food. You know, there's been a lot of articles which have been written. Obviously, there is no research which says that you eat this and you can kill corona, or you eat this and it can subside, or something like that. But this certainly has been a lot of talk. So do you think that the immunity food has now, it has to find its place on the menu as a section by itself?
If you actually see most of our menus, especially the coffee shop menu or in-room dining menu, we definitely have a health selection for the customer. But I feel now that there'll be another section which will get created, that which will be an immunity booster food. We have seen, like, we have guests who are coming in, and we have been offering them as a welcome drink. We have offered them a kada or you know, gold milk booster. So these are things which have been regularly, now the customer is asking for it. So I think this will become a trend now. And as Chef Manisha was also talking about, that lot of local, if you actually historically see that our ingredients, like, ginger we have, like we have cloves, we have cumin. These are all ingredients which actually built up your immunity. There are ragi drinks we can do. You can do ragi products like, ragi, what do you call, ragi ki kadhi you can do millets in your menu. So these are the things which definitely will now come in as your trend. Like, we have a lot of ingredients which are there, which will be definitely used. Now, if in India, if you see, giloy is another thing which we have been now saying that it is very good immunity booster. So I have a team of chefs who's now actually working on bringing in some new dishes. Especially one of the chef has now created a dish which is made out of on the giloy stick. So these are the things I feel will definitely come in the practice now and in our menus, which you will see. So
I
that
agree.
is what
I agree. I think it's the entire knowledge which has to be imparted, one to our chefs and two, knowledge to the customer. As you mentioned, that we all have the healthy section, this section, gluten-free, etc. But I think immunity building food or immunity boosters, there's so many fruits, nuts, there's so much of work.
You see, now there are seeds which are being used in which was not there, which we use a lot of seeds now in our menus now, which we have been doing, like pulsi seed and all that. So this will definitely become practice now. And that is a new thing which will definitely create a new.
Great. So Sharad, I'm going to come to you. We're running out of time actually. We are almost getting towards the end of the session, and I still have a few questions for you and for Neeraj. Now I'm going to try and join both the questions which I thought for you, because you cater to a lot of young audience. The kind of stuff that you all do. There's an amazing job that you all have done in Kolkata or Delhi or wherever, Vizag. So there's some great stuff that one hears. And there's always a debate which for some reason goes on between 5-star hotels and standalone restaurants. The industry is going through a tough time. It's us as well as the standalones. I don't know what the future holds for both of us. So what's your take on that? That's one. And my second question is the breakfast at midnight is become a dream. We are all asked to go back to sleep at 9 o'clock today. So, early to bed and early to rise. So are the chefs getting ready with some really bumper offer? Because when the crowds come back, I guarantee you they'll come back in large numbers.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Chadha. Thank you, Mr. Khanna. And Business World is quite an amazing platform and some very interesting topics coming up. Rightfully so, we are talking about the whole hospitality industry together, which includes the 5-star hotels and the standalone restaurants. Now, when we talk about both the platforms, there are a lot of common things between the two. Of course, the hotels have an advantage. We have the advantage of probably larger budgets when it comes to our hygiene and sanitation standards. We have the advantage there. We have larger spaces, so where standalone restaurants will do lesser covers, we can expand our spaces. We can convert one restaurant into 2 restaurants. We can convert banquet halls into restaurants. So we have the luxury of space there. Then we belong to corporate chains, so we have the luxury of doing corporate purchases, bringing down our costs. We don't have to usually pay rents, which standalone restaurants have to pay, and that's what's hurting them the most. But I still believe that there is one thing which is common between hotels and standalone restaurant, per se, any F&B enterprise, and that is the quality, creativity, and relationship. Right? So if you get these 3 things right, quality, creativity, and relationship, if you get these 3 things right, you will come out battered after this post-COVID. You will come out bleeding, but you will come out and you will stand up and you'll be ready to run again just by following these 3 things. Let me just quickly enhance a little bit on a couple of these. It's like when I talk about creativity, like when I talk about relationship. Now, relationship is so important. Like when establishments are opening, they are talking about reconnecting back to the customers. We never talked about reconnecting because we never disconnected with our customers, right? So we've been right from day one, when the lockdown started, day one, we had a delivery. Overnight we worked. Day one, we had a happiness at your doorstep menu launched. Day one, right? So we never disconnected with the customer. Day 2 onwards, we started serving charity meals, and we served close to just around 15 to 20,000 meals just in Calcutta, right? And we did that pan India. We were creating brands while the lockdown was happening. You know, we created a brand called Food Reimagined, where what we did was, like, we said, okay, everybody is into delivery system. How do we move one step ahead? You know, so we were the first hotel in Calcutta, let's say, who started delivering on our own and not use platform. First hotel, day 1. Second thing, what we started was that we were the first hotel, perhaps in India, to do a food festival during a lockdown. We did the first food festival in May. I did a food festival which got extended to 2 weeks. And you'll be surprised, there are certain days I did more revenue than I did when in the open restaurant. That was the response. So first food festival. And now what we've gone ahead said, okay, the trust is built. You're already ordering food with us. So that trust is already there with us on our quality, on our hygiene standards. So we said, if you are trusting my chef to cook the food for you in the hotel, why don't you let him come to your house and cook food for you? So on our menu now is a chef, on our menu now is a bartender, and on our menu now is a DJ, right? So you can order the chef at home, you can order the bartender at home, because you don't want to come out. You let him come and make food fresh for you. So you could do it for as less as 2 people, and you could take it up to 25 people. And we've been doing it successfully. Yesterday I did it for 2 homes together, right? So you have to innovate, you have to be nimble on your feet. It's like if I ask any one of you that if life gives you lemonade and most of you will, life gives you lime and most of you will say, okay, go and make a lemonade. In our genes in Park Hotel, we go beyond. We say, okay, now you got the lemonade, let's go and find to whom somebody life has given tequila and vodka, and let's party together. So we go one step ahead. You know, we go say, okay, we've got the lemonade, so how to package it, how to make a wow moment out of it and sell it and make money out of it, right? So we would like to be nimble on our feet. We like to create such new brands. We are known for our nightlife. And you'll be surprised that not a single weekend has gone where our DJs have not performed, right? So we started a new brand called the Someplace Else Live during the lockdown period, and we had Someplace Else bands playing live on Facebook and other platforms. We had our DJs playing live, another brand which we created, the Park Aqua Sunset. And you'll be surprised, some of these programs, and we created music CDs. Some of these are now featuring as the top 3 and top 4 in certain those webcast rankings, Chill Out and all these things. They are ranking out there. So I will mix the 2 questions and give you a mixed answer. In a sense, you talked about that the midnight breakfast is a distant thought. It is not. Yesterday, as I was telling you, we did catering to a house. So we served breakfast at 2 o'clock in the morning into that house. So it's not a distant thing. It's just you have to think out of box. You have to think beyond, right? So it's the moment you do it, the moment you are ready to connect back with your customer, understand their needs, you will be there. You'll be there serving them whatever time you want to serve them, right? Of course, it's going to take some time for the bars to open, for the nightlife, actual nightlife to come back. But that's a work in progress. You'll be surprised that very soon we might just announce something creative out there. It's within the norms, and still you get to party, still you get to enjoy life as you're supposed to do. No, it's true. It's the question which you asked right in the beginning was, what is the Chef Manisha? What is the future on your plate? This question. If I have to answer this particular question, I will probably say the future may be not on my plate. The future might lie in changing the plate together. Maybe the future is in a bowl. Maybe the future is in a basket. It's probably just not on a plate. So we have to really rejuggle, rethink, reimagine, and restart, right? And when we restart, we don't restart from where we finished. Maybe it's time to go back to the start line. Maybe it's time to start from zero. Maybe it's time to start from scratch. Because the moment we do that, we reinvent ourselves and we come out. People are going to come back, of course, with vengeance. They are going to come back to the restaurants and bars sooner or later. We are social animals. We can't stay away. You know, as once Mr. Gautam Anand had said to me, कि हमें मेहमान नवाजी की आदत हो गई है, right? So we have to go back to the restaurants to get pampered, you know. So Mr. Khanna is laughing because it was in one of his shows only. This he had said that. So we will come back. We will come back to that. How soon? Nobody can say right that. But yes, we will come back to that, and we have to restart and reimagine our thought processes there.
So Sharad, great, that was a great, very, very encouraging, some great ideas and some fabulous work done. I don't know about the others, but I'm certainly recharged. I can, just to listen to you and some of your creative ideas, I can sit for another hour, but that's for another day, either in Cal or in Delhi next time you're in town. So, but I'm superly impressed, and I think that's the way to look at life. It's just the way you move forward. It's all about, it's all in your mind.
Correct.
You are going through a tough time. It's all about the attitude. How do I battle it out today to reach a higher tomorrow? So that's brilliant. Okay.
Right.
Chef Tyagi, I'm sorry you've been patiently waiting and listening to everybody, but I understand that you are the youngest of the lot. So this is what happens in our industry. You have to wait for your turn. Okay. So my question to you is completely on the engagement. Engagement with employees, engagement with the youngsters. What is it that you are doing today, to keep your workforce engaged? Because, this is a community which cannot sit idle. There is no way, you are not operators. You have to take out your knives. You have to take out your frying pan. You have to cook. So what is it that you are doing at this point in time to keep the workforce engaged? Any thoughts on that?
So good evening, everyone. I think, I thoroughly enjoy it. I mean, I've been listening to all these wonderful thoughts which was coming from all the chefs. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough time for all of us, and it's very important on this trying time that we engage and motivate our workforce. So every hotel is focusing on virtual on-job trainings to uplift the skills, and also arranging the webinar where employees can enroll themselves for their subject of interest. We are also, we are committed to provide the safe environment to each and every employee when it comes to safety. Our safety checks start from the time office and to the employee lockers, staff areas, and finally to their workplace. We have floor demarcation has been done to maintain the social distancing in cafeterias and workplace. Each and every employee is being provided with the safety gears so that they feel safe while working in the hotel. And there are regular health checkups are done with our in-house doctors. There are the immunity booster meals which are provided in the staff cafeteria to boost up the immunity of each and every colleague. We also have a provision for Heartiest Fund. This is something very unique which Accor has started. So there's a Heartiest Fund, and if somebody is going through a financial crunch, Accor comes across, and then we support our colleagues with financials. So this is how we are motivating our workforce. But as I said, there's a regular training on the new SOPs, which has been redesigned and which has been recreated according to the new pandemic. So there's a continuous training. There's on-job training, virtual trainings, and webinars. This is how we are engaging our team workforce.
Brilliant. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are kind of heading towards the last few minutes of our show. It's been extremely knowledgeable for me personally, to listen to various topics that you all spoke on. Some great thoughts for way forward. Some great thoughts on what's happening today. How do we storm back together? Just a last thought, especially for the Delhi chefs. We've often heard this word, and it gets used. Collaborate. Let's do it together. Is there a need? Because remember, as I started off, the customer today is nervous, and you are confident. How do you bridge the gap? How is it that you convince him that you are creating a safe dining environment? All of you spoke about safety, security, food hygiene. Somebody spoke about innovative ways. Somebody spoke about creativity. Somebody spoke about immunity boosters. Is there a possibility? Remember that we are in a lockdown, not knockdown. We haven't been knocked out of the game. I'm sure we'll get up and bounce back, you know. And we could be divided by various chains. We are viral, but we are not rivals. You know, is there an opportunity for a Delhi food extravaganza? Is like one large big property. Whenever the revival phase starts, all restaurants can collaborate together and do one massive food week in Delhi, where all of us come together and you bring the best that you have in your kitchens and bring the confidence back. I just want reactions. I don't want any confirmation. Obviously you have to go back, but I believe like the Singapore Food Festival or the Dubai Shopping Festival, there is definitely a property which is waiting to be grabbed, and we should definitely go for it. Any quick thoughts before we move on to the my learning from the sessions?
Sure, it's a great idea, Mr. Chadha. We can look at the food safaris or food caravans where all the chains which are here, Delhi chains, can participate, and we can have a moving picture where we throw open our doors to the diners and give it at a competitive price point, because you have to get the customer in and give them the confidence of a product again. Like you very rightly said that we have the confidence of a product, but we need to also communicate to our customer once again. Absolutely. I'm sure the other chains would also like to participate in an event like that.
Anybody else?
I think overall a brilliant idea. I think the modalities can be worked out. It will need to be thought through. I really don't know how we will come together. I think that requires a lot of thinking, but in principle, I think it's a fantastic, a brilliant idea. It must be taken to the next level, and yeah, I am in it for it.
I think I feel the same. I think it's a brilliant idea, and especially when everybody at home and looking forward to come out and to experience the various delicacies, which they haven't gotten at home. So I think it's a great idea where everybody can come on a platform and then showcase their delicacies and their cuisine of their hotel. So I think it's a brilliant idea. And after this pandemic will over, I think something of this sort should come across, and then where people can come and experience it.
It's definitely a time for celebrations once we are back. So any celebration is with a festival. So I think it will be a great idea if we can collaborate, as Rohit definitely said it. We still need to work out a lot of stuff. We need to go back to our bosses. But it is doable, and everyone as Sharad said, that he did a food festival and it did well even when it did not when he was shut down. So when we are open and we all collaborate and do a festival, I think so it will work out, and it will create that sense of us belonging to Delhi and Delhi wanting to come back to us. So it's a great idea.
So we'll work towards this. I just wanted your initial reaction.
Chef Arun, it should be a Dhoom Dham show, food show.
It should be a Dhoom Dham.
Dhoom Dham ka food show.
I think that's the only way you can make a statement to the rest of the world. Nobody has done something like this. It's a statement which can be made to the world.
No, we certainly work towards it.
It has to be Delhi. Anil, it has to be Delhi NCR.
Run out of time. So, I was just jotting down a few, few points as to what does the future of this place really hold. So I just jotted down a few things. Right? So to summarize, the future of your plate is really 6 C's. Clean, focus on hygiene like never before. Covered for good health against infection. Uncovered plates are completely out of the window. Creative, high on creativity. Good looking plates will tell a story as the table interactions will reduce. Convenient, on the go and takeaway will prevail. Care, made and presented with care. Mindful selection of ingredients, focusing on health and immunity. Carbon footprinting, increased cuisine decibel levels on vocal with locals. So, this is what the sum total has been. Okay, I could not fit in the word engagement. So 6C is what really it is. And remember, what we are going through right now, ladies and gentlemen, is something that we had never imagined in our lives. Okay, but this is experience, and experience is not what happens to you. It is what you do with it happens to you. So we need to fight it out together. We need to, kind of stay together. When the herbs are inadequate, food takes over as the expression of love. Creativity, somebody mentioned, and I firmly believe is the highest form of hope. every time the industry goes through a challenging time and we don't dim the light because we are told they are too bright, we just shine on. It's been an absolute pleasure interacting with you. Some great thoughts and ideas. Some people I met for the first time. We'll connect over the phone now that we have this WhatsApp group. And let's stay in touch with each other and make that dream a reality, what we spoke about on the Delhi food extravaganza. Yeah. So thank you very much, Mr. Khanna. I'm going to hold it. I could have taken the last part from everybody. We are way beyond our time.
We are way, but don't worry about the time. I'll just take another 2 minutes. I have one question over there, which comes from Deepak Deva, who is the Managing Director of Travel Corporation India.
Yeah.
This one, Anil, you have to direct to whoever. Wine is highly overpriced in hotels. You buy them at good price and have no import duty. Chefs are deprived as customers can't experience wine, ATA. Good rate with their great food. Would Mr. Chadha comment on this?
Your first question was on wines is highly overpriced. That's what you said.
Wine is highly overpriced. You buy them at a good price and have no import duty.
We actually don't charge for the wine in hotels.
Yeah.
We only charge for the entire experience. So it's whether it is if it is overly priced, it is that entire experience which you really pay for. And today you should be happy because there's no wine available in the hotels. We are equally looking forward to. So here again, local is vocal. So there's a lot of work. I'm very, very impressed with some of the Indian winemakers. We work with them very closely. So I'm sure, Mr. Deva, that you'll see some fabulous wine prices going along the way.
So before we close this show, while I thank you all, Anil, it's been an absolute delight. When I thought of this show, me and Anil, I think we spoke about this a month ago. We were just working up the dates. I had nobody else in my mind because I knew nobody else could do this. Only Anil could. What Anil told me was, "Yaar, ek date finals kar lete hain, but ye show main karunga." And what a beautiful show. We've had some of the best chefs, and who better to host this show? And what a brilliant idea. Some people have messaged, why is it just going to be a Delhi NCR food festival? Why not a pan-India festival? So my message to them is, well, let's start with Delhi NCR and we take it from there.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Right.
So now, having said that, good ideas come through good happenings, and this show is a very, very good happening. The BW Hotelier Indian Hospitality Summit and Awards is going to be a virtual affair. We will start off the nominations in July in the next under 1 week. So you all be ready. The categories will be announced. There will be regional juries, a separate jury headed by the very best for the North, South, West, East. Then there will be a massive national jury and the awards will be done. It will be a show which this industry and this country will remember. Be ready. The EHA is coming in August and it will be a rock show. Let me promise you all, it is going to be like nobody else has done, and we will give you the best. Having said that, this content is going to be available on the Facebook, Twitter, and BW Hotelier. Anybody who's missed it, I've sent the links. It's going to be live, and keep watching it and keep coming back, because the next 6 to 7 shows are going to be uber exciting. They're going to be general managers, they're going to be PRs, they're going to be a women's show, so a women's show. So they will all be there. Look out, every week will be more excitement. Thank you all for being there. Anil, this one comes from all of us at BW Hotel.
Thank you.
Business World, from all the co-panelists, from Rohit, Arun, Himanshu, Chef Manisha, Rajiv, Chef Sharad, and Chef Neeraj. Thank you to all of you, and thank you from all of you to our wonderful host and anchor, Anil Chadha. And truly, the future of our plate is in safe hands. Thanks to you all. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very much.